Hey. Time for the Out of This World story from rSpace. After uncovering his wife's secret life, OP's going to need a lot more than just strong coffee to wake him up from this surreal nightmare. Today on rSpace, double espresso, please. This is really hard for me to write, but I just need to let it out. I can't talk to my kids about this just yet because I know it would break them, and I really don't want them to see their mother in this light right now. They don't deserve that. I'm going to try to write this out as much as I can before I have to go to bed. I'm just sitting in the bed in the dark, writing this out while it's all still fresh. I honestly can't believe this is even happening to me. We're all hurting so much right now. My wife passed away from cancer just last week. We were married for 30 years. We got married right out of high school. We were high school sweethearts. She actually lived in the acreage next to mine. We lived in a small farming town. Her dad and my dad were best friends growing up. We shared so many memories together, from playing in the fields as kids, having big family dinners together with her family and mine, fishing out in the creek behind our place, growing up through school together, to getting married and raising our own children. She was my rock, my partner in every sense of the word. She was diagnosed with lung cancer 15 months ago. It came out of nowhere. She was a runner. She never smoked and never drank. She was fit, she ate healthy, and there were no cases of it in her family. It just seemed like some fluke thing. First, she was complaining of a little cough that wasn't going away. She had it for 2 months, and finally I pleaded for her to go to the doctor, even to get some antibiotics or even an inhaler. Then we got the diagnosis. I'm so torn right now. As I was clearing up some stuff and going through old photos for a celebration of life, and while I was looking for photos, I found a box amongst her shoes in our closet with a bunch of her diaries, old receipts, letters, hotel keys, pressed flowers, underwear, and whatnot. After going through the diaries and the letters, I came to find that she was having an affair with some man that she had worked at the hospital with. My wife was a nurse, dedicated to healing others while secretly breaking my heart. She had left work shortly after her diagnosis. Before I found this box, the house felt so empty without her laughter, without her presence. Even with finding this box today, I found myself wandering through the house, touching the things she used to touch, trying to hold on to the remnants of her life. The kitchen is the hardest place for me to be right now. It was her domain. She loved to cook and bake, and the smell of her cinnamon buns always made our home feel warm and inviting. Now, it just feels like a hollow shell of what it used to be. And even worse, I come to realize that I never even knew the woman that I had held the hand of as she took her last breath. I don't know how to move forward from this. The kids, bless their hearts, have been so strong. They're trying to hold it together, probably for my sake as much as their own. But I see the pain in their eyes. They've lost their mother, their confidant, their biggest supporter, and I'm terrified of how her death and this truth will shape their lives. I want to be strong for them, but I feel like I'm failing. Do I tell them? Do I sit with this? I wish I had never found that box. I want to burn it. Everywhere I look, I see her favorite chair in the living room, the garden she tended with so much love, the photo albums she meticulously kept. It's all a constant reminder of the life we built together. How could she have kept this a secret for so long? By the dates in the diary and the letters, it looks like she's been having this affair for about 10 years now. She was my one and only. How could she have done this to me? And why did she keep that box hidden in plain sight? Did she want me to find this? Was it some sort of twisted way to unburden herself even after she was gone? These questions haunt me, and I'll never get the answers I need. I feel betrayed, not just by her actions, but by the facade she maintained. The love I thought we shared now feels tainted, overshadowed by deceit. It's hard to reconcile the one who was so caring and nurturing with the one who kept such a significant part of her life hidden from me. I wish I could talk to her, ask her why, understand what led to this. Was there something lacking in our marriage that I was blind to? Did she ever think of ending the affair, or did she believe she could carry on with both lives indefinitely? These thoughts swirl in my mind, keeping me up at night. Despite everything, I still love her. That's the hardest part. Love doesn't just vanish because of the betrayal. It's mingled now with anger, sadness, and confusion. I miss her, even as I grapple with this new understanding of who she was. Writing this out helps, even if it is just a little. It's a way to process the overwhelming grief and betrayal that feels like it's all suffocating me. I know I'll have to tell the kids eventually, share with them the depth of my pain and let them see that it's okay to grieve, to be vulnerable. But for now, I need to find my own way through this darkness. I mean, I don't want to burden them with this. They have their own lives and their own kids to raise and to love. Thank you for listening. I don't know who will read this, but just knowing that I put these feelings into words, that they're out there, is a small comfort. Maybe one day when I'm ready, I'll share this with the kids, and they'll understand a bit more about what their dad is going through. Update 1. Thank you so much for your kind words and your comments supporting me through this. I never thought that anybody would ever listen or even care. And a lot of you really knocked some sense into me, and I appreciate you for that. It's been a few weeks since I last wrote, and I wanted to give you all an update on how things are going. Firstly, I decided not to destroy the box. I've placed it in a safe spot, out of immediate sight, but somewhere I can access it when I'm ready to process more of it. I've also started opening up to a few close friends about what I found. Friends that don't really know too much about her or are too close to our family. I trust them. Their support and perspectives have been invaluable. It's helped me see that while her actions were a betrayal, they don't erase the good times we had or the love she had for our family. People are complex and relationships even more so. I'm beginning to understand that now. The kids still don't know. I've decided to keep this information from them for the time being. They're dealing with enough grief as it is, and I want their memories of their mother to remain untarnished for now. We've been spending a lot of time together, leaning on each other for support. It's brought us closer together, and I'm grateful for that. My counselor has been a tremendous help. We've been working through my feelings of betrayal and grief, and it's a slow but necessary process. I'm learning to forgive, not just her, but myself as well, for not seeing the signs, for not being perfect. Forgiveness is a journey, and I'm taking it one step at a time. One of the hardest things has been learning to separate the woman I loved and the woman who made a terrible, gut-wrenching mistake. I've come to realize that she was both. She was a loving mother, a devoted partner, and also someone who made choices that hurt me deeply. Holding these truths together is difficult, but it's part of the healing process. For now, I still have many questions, and when I'm ready, I'll reach out to whoever this man was that she was having this affair with and try to get answers that I want. I've been trying to stay strong for the kids. They wanted to honor her memory as a family. We've planted a small garden in her favorite spot in the backyard, filled with her favorite flowers. The kids and I take turns tending to it, and it's become a place of peace and remembrance for them. I'm really trying not to get bitter or resentful. Anyways, that's all I have for now. Sorry it's not more. Update 2. Some of you are asking about the letters and what she's written in the diaries. This is difficult for me to talk about, but I think it's important to share, if only to help me process and maybe help others going through this something similar. The letters and diaries were a shock to my system. When I first opened them, I felt like I was intruding on something deeply personal. I needed to know the truth. In her writing, she talked about her struggles, her fears, and her desires, particularly her desire for this certain man that she worked with. Apparently, he was a doctor at the hospital who came in from out of town. He showed her a bit of attention and applauded her on her intelligence and work ethic. She also wrote about her love for our family and her dedication to her work. But mixed in with those entries were confessions of her affair. She described how it started, innocently enough, with shared shifts at the hospital, turning into coffee breaks, then lunches, and eventually something more. This killed me. She went into details about their physical encounters and how he was much different than what she had ever had, aka me. At one point, she had explained that I was very vanilla compared to the experiences this other man had given her. I will say that I felt our sex life wasn't bad, and perhaps I had been wrong all of these years. We had sex regularly, I'd say about 2 or 3 times a week. She never faltered in the bedroom. She always seemed interested. In the diary, she had explained that she had a high sex drive, and I guess if she was having encounters with this other man in the same week that we were, she was, on many occasions, being physical every day of the week. Sometimes, but not many, she wrote about the guilt she felt, how she struggled with her feelings for this other man while still loving me and her family. She seemed torn, caught between 2 worlds. There were moments when she contemplated ending the affair, but not many. She said that he was fun, that he made her feel young, and that she had only ever had one man, and that it felt nice to be wanted. All of this broke my heart. There were times when I'd go away for the weekend on a hunting or fishing trip with my friends. It became a sort of ritual, and she explained that she had looked forward to that weekend every year because he'd come over and it would be a weekend of sexcapades. I won't go into too much details, but she said that he was good with his hands. I think you get the picture. It killed my ego. Update 3. I decided to confront this doctor fellow. It wasn't an easy decision, and I spent countless sleepless nights going back and forth on whether it was the right thing to do. In the end, I realized I needed answers to move forward. I went to the hospital that they worked at. I thought surely he was still there, and sure enough, he was. I had him paged to the front desk, and when he walked down to the hall to see me, he smiled at me. He hadn't a clue who I was. And for a moment, I understood what she saw in him, but it broke my heart even more. He asked me what I wanted, and I went out and said, "You knew my wife." And in that moment, I saw his expression change and it finally clicked. He gave me his card and said that he was waiting for me, and he said to call him and he wanted to set up a time to talk to me properly, man to man. So we ended up setting up a time to go for coffee, and when we sat down, he told me that my wife had talked a lot about me and the kids. Again, this killed me to hear. I asked him why he continued with the affair if he knew that she was married. He said that they loved each other. Honestly, when I heard that, I almost got up to leave. I couldn't bear to hear it. But I stayed. I stayed because I needed to understand, no matter how painful it was. He continued, explaining that what they had felt was genuine, even if it was wrong. He told me that my wife had struggled with the situation, that she had been torn between her love for our family and the connection she felt with him. He didn't try to justify their actions, but he did try to explain the emotional turmoil she was in. I asked him if he ever thought about ending it, knowing the damage it could cause. He said they had talked about it many times, but something always kept them coming back to each other. He admitted that it was selfish and that they were caught up in their own emotions and failed to see the bigger picture. Listening to him was excruciating. Every word felt like a knife twisting in my heart. Yet, in a strange way, it also provided some clarity. It showed me that my wife wasn't a simple villain in the story, but a deeply flawed human being who made poor choices out of complicated emotions. He also mentioned her illness, how it had changed her perspective on life and her regrets. He told me that in her final months, she had confided in him about wanting to make things right, about her fear of leaving us all behind with unresolved pain. He said that she had said her goodbyes to him soon after she was diagnosed. He said that she felt her diagnosis was karma in some way for what she had done behind my family's back. Before we parted, I told him how much his actions had hurt me and my family. He apologized, not just for the affair, but for the ripple effect it had caused. He promised to stay away from my family out of respect for our healing process. He apologized for our loss. He said he never wanted to hurt me, but that he did love her, and I told him that I loved her too, and it said that I never wanted to see him again. Confronting him didn't provide all the answers or make anything better, but it was a step toward closure. It helped me see that the affair was a complex and multifaceted issue, not just a black and white betrayal. I'm still seeing a therapist regularly. It's been one of the few things helping me stay grounded through all of this. The sessions gave me a safe space to express my feelings, to untangle the web of grief, anger, and confusion that I'm dealing with. The therapist has been instrumental in helping me see things from different perspectives, to process the betrayal without it completely overshadowing the good memories I have of my wife. As for my kids, I've decided to keep the affair a secret from them, at least for now. It's not an easy decision, and I struggle with it every day. But I truly believe it's the right thing to do. They're already dealing with the immense pain of losing their mother. Adding the burden of her affair would only compound their grief and confusion. They need to remember her as the loving, dedicated mother she was to them. I want their memories of her to be filled with warmth and love, not overshadowed by mistakes she made. They don't deserve to have their image of her tarnished during such a vulnerable time. The therapist supports this decision. We have talked extensively about the potential impact on the kids, and we both agree that revealing this information now would only do more harm than good. And I hope, in time, that I can find a way to reconcile the woman I thought I knew with the one who made these choices. For now, I'll continue to seek guidance from my therapist and take things one step at a time. First of all, my deepest condolences, OP. And secondly, finding out your wife had a secret life hidden in your closet? That's some next level betrayal. And her choice of hiding spot? Diaries, receipts, hotel keys, and underwear? That's some scavenger hunt. So the wife was having sexcapades while he was off on his hunting trips, huh? Talk about multitasking. It's like she was running her own little bed and breakfast, except instead of serving breakfast, she was serving betrayal with a side of guilt. And finding out the guy at the hospital was clueless about the whole thing? Classic sitcom material right there. I can just imagine the awkward small talk over coffee like, "Hey, remember that time you ruined my life?" Awkward. And then confronting the other man? That takes some serious guts, OP. Though I have to wonder, what kind of coffee do you order when you're sitting down with a guy who made your wife write he was good with his hands? Probably not decaf, that's for sure. What do you think about OP's decision to not tell his kids? Would you have confronted the affair partner? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.